Man, the beard is scraggly. Gotta get that trimmed up. Beard gang. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Neil here, and today I wanted to talk to you about a pretty cool product. It's not really brand new, but this version of the product is a new and improved version of the previous model. And it's really cool. I mean, this kind of thing has been around for a while, so it's nothing like groundbreaking. But what I'm talking about is the Hollyland Mars 300 Pro, and I got the enhanced model, which has the antennas that you can attach to the transmitter. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this product today, and if you were thinking that these things are just really for use on like sets where you have to monitor the video that's coming out of the camera, it is actually much more useful than that. So I actually want to talk about that particular function of it, and as well another way that I'm going to use it and that you may want to use it for your next live streaming project or event. So let's just get into it. My name is Neil, and on this channel I review budget gear for photographers and videographers, as well as hopefully soon, I've been promising you guys for a while, doing some behind the scenes of my photography and videography events. Right now I'm mostly doing weddings, so I'm really busy trying to crank out those edits for those clients, so the BTS stuff has to come separate. But if you think you may like content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it, and it goes a very long way. So let's talk about this bad boy here. We are looking at the Hollyland Mars 300 Pro Enhanced. Hollyland was nice enough to send this over to me, but I am not being paid in any way. This video is not sponsored by Hollyland, and all the opinions are my own, and they do not get to see this video before I actually upload it. All right, so about this Hollyland, I'm gonna give you 10 good things I really like about it. I'm not gonna give you anything that I don't like about it, because quite frankly, I haven't found anything just yet. I've had it for a couple of weeks. I haven't found anything that I don't like about it. So let's talk about the first thing that I like about this little transmitter receiver setup, and that is the transmission range up to 300 feet. Now, at the beginning of this video, I was talking about what you can use this for besides your traditional uses of monitoring the video that's coming out of the camera that you're filming with. I've used this actually on a Facebook Live and a Zoom call. So essentially what I've done in that application with Facebook Live, I've been at a wedding and the couple wanted to have it, live stream. As you may know, if you want to do something like that, you have to have a laptop with a capture card for this to go into. And you still have to have the capture card in order for this to work, to go directly into your laptop. So you have the transmitter here that's on your camera, and then you have the receiver plugged into your laptop via a capture card. So you're able to basically give them a point of view style to the live stream. So whatever your camera is seeing, your viewers are actually seeing as well. So that's a pretty cool thing. And it's 300 feet transmission. And now they say that that's line of sight. But I have found that it goes really, really far. I haven't actually measured it as far as measuring out 300 feet, but it goes really, really far as transmission goes. I haven't seen it break up or drop anything as far as video frames. So that's a really nice feature that I like about it. Now, number two is the surprisingly low latency. They have rated it at 0.08 seconds. So essentially when I am using this and I'm doing something like this to see what the latency is, it's very, very minimal. And I guess 0.08 seconds is pretty minimal for anything, but the latency is really good. So could you pull focus with this if you're doing some type of short film and you have somebody manually pulling focus for you? I would say yes. Is it 100% foolproof? No. But is anything, unless you're using SDI. But I think you could really do it, especially for slow shots. maybe like panning shots or maybe like, push-in shots. I think the latency on this thing is just fine, and you would be able to have someone manually pull focus for you. So that's another thing that I really like about it. So the third thing I like about it is the real-time monitoring app. So there's an app called Hollyview that will allow you to basically control your transmitter and your receiver and actually see what is coming in to the transmitter. So if you have this plugged up to your camera, of course, you can see basically a live view of what's being transmitted on your phone, on your iPad, and they have that for both iOS and Android. So that's a pretty neat feature. I'll give you guys some B-roll of the feature that I'm talking about. And of course, the app is free to use, so that's pretty awesome as well. Number 4, HDMI in and an HDMI LoopOut. So if you have basically an HDMI out going off of the receiver into, say, a monitor or your capture card to your laptop, it has 2 outputs here. So that allows you to run it to, say, another external monitor or something like that on the receiver. Now on the transmitter side, it does have an HDMI in and it has an HDMI loop out. So essentially, if you want to run this straight out of your camera, then you can run it over to, like, let's say, an external monitor if you have one on your rig as well. So that's the real awesome thing about it too, is like you're not just, kind of limited to what you get on the receiver end, but you can actually see with the HDMI loop out what's going on right there as you're operating the camera with, say, an external monitor. So that's a really nice feature as well. A lot of features so far that I'm loving. It's jam-packed with features in such a tiny, footprint. I really like this. And currently I have some NPF style 970 batteries on it just because these are the ones I have. I'll probably get some smaller NPF batteries because this does make it kind of cumbersome. But if you're not moving this around very much, then it should be okay. And I'm using these batteries because they give you a tremendous life as far as powering anything, including, the transmitter and the receiver. Now, if you want to, you can always use a USB-C, like a battery pack, if you have that. Both of these have USB-C connections, but I do find that they need to be at least 7.4 to 7.6 volts amperage coming into it, or it's going to pop up no video. So essentially what would happen is your transmitter may say it has a video signal coming in and show 1080 by 24 or whatever the case may be, whatever resolution you're transmitting. But then I've noticed that the receiver side says no video because I tried to use this that has a USB out, this battery, into the receiver because I was powering my monitor with this battery and using a USB-C cable to plug into the receiver, and it kept giving me no video. So as soon as I put a battery directly onto here, then boom, the video popped up and it was syncing with the transmitter. So just keep that in mind, just something to look, for if you're using, say, an external battery pack. Make sure it has the correct output, and that output needs to be at least 7.4 to 7.6 VA. The next feature that I want to talk about is obviously, we just said something about it, is USB-C, and it says 5 volts to 12 volts here. Again, when I was trying to use my battery pack that I use for mostly everything, I don't guess it puts out enough, and the receiver was saying it had no video from the transmitter because I was using the transmitter with an NPF battery, but then I was using the battery pack to go in USB-C here. So again, make sure you have something that's at least 7.4 and up volts wise, but it does have a USB-C port on both the transmitter and the receiver, which is really nice because that will allow you to get firmware updates, and you can just plug those right into your computer that has USB-C and be able to update these things pretty quickly. And it's just convenient because everyone's going to USB-C now, so that's a cool thing to have, and USB-C cables are a dime a dozen. They're just like what micro USB used to be. They're coming with everything now. So definitely a cool input to have USB-C. I'm tired of seeing stuff with micro USB on it. That's like so old. So everyone get with USB-C, please. So another feature that I like is the NPF style batteries, which I've kind of already touched on. This is a 970. You can use, I think there are 750 or 770 and then 550, 570. Again, I just have these, so that's why I decided to use them. And these are by Power Extra. And the reason why I like these is because they do have like that power meter there, and they do have a DC out, which is 5 volts. And then they have a USB out, which I think is 5.6 volts. Again, running this on the back is very cumbersome, so I probably will get some smaller batteries. Even if I got the 570s or the 770s, it's going to be able to power this thing for a very long time. Now, Hollyland has said with the 770, I believe, you can run this thing up to 3.5 hours. With the 970, you can run up to 5.5 hours. Why you would need to run it that long, besides maybe doing a short film production or something like that, I don't know. But again, my purpose for it right now is doing live streams at wedding events. It's just really easy. I put it on my camera, HDMI out from my camera into the transmitter, back to the receiver, going in via a capture card and using whatever they want to stream with, whether that's Facebook, Zoom, OBS, YouTube, what have you. So the batteries, yes, very good. I like that they have the basically the sled on the back to be able to do that. And then if you want to take the batteries out, it does have a button, of course, to release the battery. So that's another cool thing about it. And another thing is the LCD display that you will see here on the side of the transmitter and the receiver. So what's cool about this is that you can actually see what's going on, what your signal strength is, the voltage coming into it, and what channel that you're operating on. You can also do channel scans on this. So if you're in an area that a certain channel is giving you some interference, then you definitely have multiple channel options that you can use with this transmitter and receiver. And the LCD screen is small, but it's functional, and it has a little scroll wheel here that you can basically push in or move up and down to select your channels, do any sort of channel scans, and also pair the two together. The antennas, another good feature for me. Now, the reason why I went with the enhanced is just for the increased range. Hollyland says it does 300 feet regardless of you having antennas or not. But as we all know, antennas through a power device is always a good thing. So I think having these, being able to remove them if I want, say for instance, if I have a rig set up that I don't particularly have the room for these antennas to be sticking out, they are detachable, so that's a really good feature as well. So I just decided to get the enhanced version because I believe you can get more range with anything that has power running through it, and then having 2 antennas basically transmitting out your signal. I think that's much more functional than say having the limited availability of not having any antennas whatsoever. But the enhanced version, I think, is only about 30 bucks more at $469 versus $439 for just the standard version. So, you guys can decide from there. It also comes with basically a hot shoe mount, but just on one end. I don't know why they didn't supply it, because it does have thread holes for this particular mount to go on the receiver. I've decided to put it on my transmitter because, again, I'm going to be putting it on my rig with my camera, and it does have hot shoes on the handle as well as the cage itself. Don't know why they didn't include 2. It's weird. I don't think it's just mine. I've seen someone else that said they didn't include 2 of these particular adapters here. So again, the main feature for me is that you can stream directly POV point of view from your camera through the transmitter to the receiver back to your laptop if you're doing something like Facebook Live, Zoom, Skype, OBS, YouTube Live, whatever video chatting, conferencing software that you use, you're able to do this just by hooking it onto your camera and transmitting the signal. So that's going to be the main functionality for me, is when I'm using this thing, is to have it on my camera and do a point of view style. So essentially whatever my camera sees is what the viewer sees. So I think that's mainly the #1 feature for me, and that's really why I decided to pick up one of these from Hollyland, and I'm very grateful that they sent it to me because I do have several weddings coming up. And surprisingly enough, by offering that feature, people and that service, people have decided they wanted to do it. Now, there's much more that goes into doing a streaming event than say just the transmitter and the receiver. Of course, you have to have the laptop, the capture card, a solid internet connection to be able to upload You can get away with doing it with like a 4G hotspot, definitely a 5G hotspot, or just make sure that you are in a good coverage area before you go, because if you don't have at least 2.5 to 3 megabytes upload, then your transmitter and receiver can work all day long fine and dandy getting the signal from your camera to your laptop, but the quality is going to look like crap on the live stream because you don't have that internet connection. So just be aware of that if you want to do something like that with this Hollyland Mars 300 Enhanced. So another thing, lastly, that I do like about it, it is very compact. So if you take this battery off, you know, they're pretty thin, both the transmitter and the receiver. It's pretty thin. Again, get yourself some MPF style 550 or 750 batteries. Usually you can find those pretty cheap on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. But yeah, it's pretty compact. Again, the antennas come off. There's nothing really much to them. As far as build quality, pretty nice. I don't think if you drop this, it's going to break unless it's a significant fall. But I do like it. And also I meant to point out that it does have quarter thread holes, mounting thread holes on the bottom of the transmitter and the receiver as well. So if you wanted to use something like a magic arm, or if you had a hot shoe adapter that uses the threaded hole on one side and then the shoe on the other, you can definitely do that. So that's really, really good. I mean, overall, very impressed by the quality of the Hollyland Mars 300 Pro. And really, I'm going to just basically put it through its paces. So maybe you'll be able to see some of that in my BTS. I'm not sure how I would, incorporate that as far as doing the live stream and whatnot and being able to show you that. But so far, what I have seen, I really like. So if you're considering something to monitor your video coming from your camera, if you have someone else monitoring it, or if you're pulling focus, somebody's pulling focus for you with your video, or in fact, you want to do a live stream type of setup, definitely consider this, because it is a good option to have, and the quality is really good, transmission is good, and everything that I've pretty much went over in the video about it. I can't say enough good things about it so far. So let me know what you think about this video and about this particular item in the comments below. I'll leave a description to the Hollyland Mars 300 Pro in the description as well, and let me know if you're going to use it for anything. Let me know if you decide to pick up one, and if you do, how it worked for your particular case scenario or your event. I would genuinely like to know. All right, so that's it for today. I greatly, again, appreciate you stopping by, taking a look at this video. And if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on that bell notification so you're notified every time I post a video. And if you enjoyed this particular video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It goes a long way for the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, hasta luego.